Putting in a new shower where the tub used to be. Ran into this. The floor joists are 19 on center. Studs are 2 foot on center. A little too wide for my liking. The old tub drain was 1.5 inches. The new shower drain needs to be 2 inch. And here's what I ran into. I wanted to show you is my drain hits dead center, of course. So I'm going to cut a chunk of that out of there and reframe this thing to accommodate the excuse me, the new drain. I already mocked together some fittings, and I know approximately how big I want to make this this hole. I guess biggest thing is just make sure there's not a lot of weight on your floor, or you'll have to support it somehow from underneath maybe. But the new 2 inch drain has to, this was the easiest thing to do. Lot going on, but the new vent, and to reconnect that, actually cut it off there and redo the whole flange and everything to accommodate this new drain. But the shower pan, this is like a tile ready or ready tile shower pan. Whatever you end up using, you'll end up with a big bell shape on the bottom that goes through the floor, kind of an oversized hole. I'm not a big fan of this foam pan. You know, I don't know. It is what it is. So we'll make it work. Happiness is a sharp blade. So when you go cutting these out, just make sure you're cutting nice and straight. Take your time. In my case, I should have had a fresh battery. I was kind of running out of juice there, but just make sure when you're cutting these things, if you're doing it this way, that you don't jam your blade through the drywall ceiling of the downstairs. I just get real close and I'll get this big chunk out of the way. You can either use a hand saw or a little jam saw, or if you're super careful, you got a nice sharp stiff blade, you can use a Sawzall. Just be careful you don't poke through the ceiling. Get that last little chunk out of there and get it cleaned up, and double check your, you know, all your measurements and everything. Like I said, just make sure there's not a lot of weight on the floor when you do this. And what I'm doing is I'm cut my first block. I measured where my pipe is, and I'm going to go ahead and drill the hole for that, just making sure that the bottom of the hole is a little bit higher than where it is right there. So after I got my block in, stuck my pipe in there, I checked it with a level, get about 1/4 inch of fall, so that's plenty for this. And then I'm just kind of checking for room on my fittings as I go. So nailing this first one in here, you just want to make sure that your you know, your framing is nice and flush with each other. That's yellow pine. I had to actually rip it down a little bit because I had like a doorbell wire or something running underneath it. I wanted to leave a little bit of room, didn't want to pinch that. So getting some nails into this stuff, and then a little bit later we'll open this shower floor up a little more and put some more framing in. So here's a little trick. Drive a screw down into the end there because it's low a little bit, and I can pry up on that with a hammer or a pry bar because I'm sitting on it. Don't have any choice. So I can pull that up a little bit and get a couple nails in it to hold it till I can get my hangers on there, and then pull your screw out. So just double checking my pipe, make sure the bottom of my pipe is resting a little bit higher than where it discharges there. Clean the pipe, glue the pipe, use you know, ABS glue for this. Give it a little twist as you push it in, help seal it real good. There I got my T on there, and a reducer bushing on the opposite end, right there. Reduce it down to 1.5 inches for my vent that's going to go straight out to there. I'll have to get creative with a couple of fittings on that. And then I have my trap and pipe and stuff just kind of mocked in there. It's just sitting there dry for now until I till I get my other board in. And just checking this thing as you go. Like I said, take your time. You don't want to have to put something in and rip it back out. So there I got my other block in. I got the hole drilled for the vent. Got it laid in there, and I'm going to pull this, just making sure my vent pipe is, fitting good. So I'll pop that out and go ahead and nail this other block in where it goes. And then I can work on gluing the vent in. Same thing on this one, just, nail and screw as you can. Sometimes it can be kind of tight. Here I had to do the same pry bar thing to get the other side nice and flush. And then make sure you get rid of those screws. And get a few nails in it to hold it. It's surprising what a few good nails will do as far as holding it nice and stiff. Vent, got it glued in there. I'm going to go ahead and work this thing kind of fitting by fitting. I'm going to dry fit it and then pull it all off so I can glue it back together. This gets a little confusing, and if you don't get them oriented the right way, you can mess it up. So here I'm making marks on the pipe with a Sharpie or whatever, so you need a crayon or something so you can orient these fittings the right way. And then I'll pop the whole thing off and glue them up and kind of stick it on there all at once. Makes it a little easier, at least for me. You can see your marks there. Sharpie's kind of hard to see on that black pipe, but there I got my vent all hooked up. The trap again is just sitting there so I can double and triple and quadruple check my measurements. This thing's got to be dead on, and then I can make some reference marks on the trap and so forth, except for that piece coming up. I'll leave that unglued for now. So after I got the trap put in, I laid the base in here dry so I could see what's going on. It's a little low on the right side. Front to back, it's pretty level, so I need to build it up on the right side when I mud this thing down. And while I got this thing sitting here, I'm going to measure my the piece of pipe I need that goes in the floor. You couldn't see down in there, but you shine a light down in there and get that cut and glued in. I went back through and put my brackets on. You can put joist hangers on these if you wanted to. Takes up a little bit of room, and I don't think it's really necessary. This thing's not going to go anywhere, and then I can work on blocking out the rest of this. Got my copper in there, so I'll block the rest of this shower floor like this, screwed and nailed blocks in everywhere to stiffen this thing up, staying away from the copper. Put nail plates in if you need them, so you don't, drive a nail through your brand new pipes. So glued and screwed the plywood down, and then just set my base in some thin set. Made sure it's nice and level, and we'll let that sit overnight. So you got a project like this, you got to cut the joists. Hope that helps. One last thing, when you're setting this base. Get it real close to setting all the way down. Leave enough room. You get your arm in there to glue that pipe to the drain, and then slam it down real quick. So, yeah, don't forget that.